Alrighty, well, kind of a weird position for this to be in on hand, but I'll explain for the most part for you guys to know. But, long story short, we've reached, well, 50 episodes of Shoot the Breeze. And it's kind of like a milestone in and of itself, and, well, I've thought just to celebrate this milestone on hand, this was been passed around a little bit, like during, like, what, 20 episodes, 30 episodes on hand, it's an idea. So, we thought we'd see it through for the end, and, I've been, suggested, why don't I just have, like, for 50 episodes, just, I'd be interviewed by somebody else. And, when it came to basically thinking about who it would be, for the most part, I couldn't think of anybody else on hand to do that better than basically somebody who I cherish as a brother, more than anything else. So, for those who are wondering, basically, the person who's interviewing me right here, well, he's a really good friend of mine. Somebody who I, cherish as a family more than anybody else. So, the person who's interviewing me and host, for the most part, is, well, my good friend, ChaoticFireBlaze. So, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, again, the opposite way is now hitting you. So, for the first one, what got you into Twitch and live streaming?
Twitch and live streaming.
What inspired you to start doing it?
What inspired me to basically Twitch and live stream, because funny enough, believe it or not, what people don't realize is that before I even started live streaming, like 2018 or so, I actually tried to live stream like 6 years ago. And that was off my PS4, and I tried to live stream it, and originally the first game I did was Rogue Galaxy. And, ironically enough, well, 2018 or so, the first game I did, too, was, Rogue Galaxy. But, I basically, it was 2012, I was trying to do this, and originally, before I was a part of, like, VRC or anything else, I was part of a wrestling forum board called Armbar Era Society. And it was basically a text forum board that simulated, like, e-feds and everything of, like, from different wrestling games and everything. I used to basically do that on hand. I just wanted to basically give myself a chance at doing live streaming or so. And I lost motivation a little bit of it just because, well, again, when you stream or so, you're going to lose motivation because you don't have, like, a lot of people from that first time on hand. So, it was kind of like that one thing on hand for it. And then, fast forward 6 years later, I got motivated to basically stream again. And what motivated me to stream was through a person who I was part of a group called 7 Deadly Sins by the name of Dead Thing. And he was streaming Yakuza 4, I remember, and I got motivated to stream again. And at that time, I didn't have, like, a high-power, like, desktop. I only had my PS4. And, well, no Ethernet cable, so it was on Wi-Fi. So you could tell how well that looked. And, so I streamed Rogue Galaxy from that. And, basically kind of worked my way up to basically just live stream. Like, work my way up to basically get, like, an Oculus desktop, and basically still trying to improve my craft here today or so. Hopefully to bigger and better things. So, yeah, that's how it started.
Oh, yeah. And look where you are now. I mean, look, you're on 50 episodes of Shoot the Breeze, and you've got a lot to go for.
Yeah. I still got a lot to go for.
More in the future.
Yeah. Nowhere to go, but still up, so that's where our destination.
Exactly. Alright. Let's get you the classic question that you usually ask. What's your favorite anime?
Favorite anime? You know, when it comes to anime, and basically things to be favored by or so, it's weird because I haven't actually sat down and watched a lot of anime. I'd say I would, but at the same time, it's like, you know, I don't have free time on my hands to watch anime for a lot of things on hand. So, I grew up on Dragon Ball Z, believe it or not. I grew up on Dragon Ball Z. Actually, it was during the golden age of Adult Swim, where it was like, you had your Toonami, then you have Adult Swim. So basically, it was like Dragon Ball, let me see here. It was Dragon Ball, for some reason, they mixed in, like, Batman the Animated Series and Superman the Animated Series. I think it was, like, the Midnight Run.
Like Dragon Ball, yeah. Yeah, Inuyasha used to be one of them, but I don't think that's it anymore.
Yeah, Inuyasha, it was during, that was, like, during the Adult Swim things, where it had, like, Trigun, Inuyasha, Tenchi Muyo, they would add, like, Yu Yu Hakusho in there, too. Like, it was, like, the golden age in the sense of, like, anime they added, but basically it was kind of, like, on the teen side of it or so, if you could basically, you know, sneak in and watch it while your parents were asleep, but...
If you could sneak in and watch it, yeah, if you got the opportunity
but yeah,
to.
It was kind of like that on hand. So...
Yeah. Alright.
So, yeah.
Alright, third question for you. What did you used to do before you streamed?
Before I streamed,
Well, was like the main thing you used to do before you streamed?
You know, again, before I streamed or anything, I was just, like, before I even came in the VRC, I was part of the wrestling community. Like, I used to basically just watch wrestling, tweet about it and everything, and again, I used to be part of, like, the Armbar Era Society, like, format and everything. And it was one of those things where it was, yeah, it has its moment. It was fun here and there, but it had its moments where it was like, you know, I never understood why, you know, if you don't like something, why would you come back next week and watch it again? Like, if you hate it the first time, why would you do it again? Like, why would you do that amount of masochism, where basically you would just watch something and then basically be like, you know, this sucks, I'm gonna see it again next week, kind of like mindset. It's just like, I don't understand that. And it was one of those things where I got tired of basically just seeing like people complain about whatever it was, because you have the options in the world to basically go watch something else or see something different or basically go do something different. So I never understood why you stick to the exact same thing hoping that it would be better when it never improves.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
And it was like, and it would kind of like ruin my motivation to kind of continue what I was doing, like EFED wise or so. So I wanted to try to do something different. Then I heard about VRC and everything, and I got started in like early, I want to say like September or so, but I never fully committed myself to VRC until like November, like 22nd or so, 22nd of like 2017. And I basically was just like hopping in because it was something I never seen. You were on desktop and everything, you never got a chance to see it, and it was like a little bit different worlds here. I got to meet some interesting people along the way here and there, and basically I stuck with it until to this day, and I still hold this as a high regard. If I did not meet 2 specific people on hand, I would not be on VRC for the longest period of time as you see now, or I wouldn't probably be streaming. If I did not meet Aros and Greylith in the exact world of Gaia Knight, I probably wouldn't be on VRC.
Oh, Gaia Knight, that's a classic.
That's a classic.
That's a classic world.
It's a classic world, but it has a lot of memories to it. I remember on hand. Like, a lot of remembers. It was during that time where basically anime particles started to become a thing on hand, and basically you start seeing some weird, ridiculous things, like the classic, like, people firing a Kamehameha or something, and it was just like, holy shit, I never seen that happen. How do you do that? It's like, right. You know, it was kind of like being involved in it. It was like during the eras of basically where, like, I don't know, floppy was a thing, where basically he would create like so many different anime, literally, he created so many different anime particles on hand to the point where it was like laggy, but it was cool, kind of like thing.
Yeah, it was worth the lag, yeah.
Oh, my game crashed, but that was awesome.
I just saw the best thing ever. Then it died.
And then it died, yeah. So.
Alright, 4th question for you then. What are some of the hobbies you usually do besides, you know, streaming? What are some of the hobbies that you like to do?
I do play, usually when I'm not streaming, or basically when I'm not doing anything content creation wise, like video editing, or basically if I'm kind of like thinking of ideas here and there, I would just basically play like certain games like past midnight. Like when everybody else is asleep, I'm wide awake just doing something till like 5 or 6 in the morning playing games. And what I played usually, like at that time I was playing like Dark Souls 2, and like I enjoy like challenging games here and there, but I also enjoy grindy games where I could just like grind away certain stuff just because I could be more prepared or anything. And I play Dark Souls, and as of right now I've been playing like Pokemon Sword because I just enjoy like grinding. Yeah. I enjoy grinding levels out because I want to be more prepared for anything else when it comes to stuff on hand. And my rule of thumb, like Pokemon, any Pokemon game is basically in my mind is like, okay, be 5 levels higher than the gym leader or something, because that way I'm at least prepared and extra prepared at the exact same time to see it through. So
exactly,
just for that.
Yeah. No, I understand that. Heck, I understand that part.
As for anything extra hobby wise or so, I used to do poetry. Like I used to have like a book where I just write poetry down for whatever it was or so, because I used to do like haikus, as well as just basically come up with these like verses on hand, like poetry on hand for what pops in my head or so. Some of it like originated from when I used to be from part of Armbar Era Society, because I would just sit down and actually study and just try to figure out what I can write here and there or so. So
yeah,
but yeah, a little bit of that.
Gotcha. All right, a 5th question to you. What has kept you to where you stick with, idiots like me and all of us all the way to this day? What has kept you to stick with us?
I can tell you why. It's because I relate to you guys, and you guys relate to me. Like, put it this way. As much as you guys want to call yourself idiots or, like, whatever you want to do, I'm an idiot, too. Like, put it this way. I'm stubborn. I want to see things through the end. I make a lot of puns, and sometimes I include a little bit of a dick joke here and there just because I find that funny. You know who else finds that funny? You guys find it funny. You guys find it funny.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, that's my group of people. That's my group of people and friends that I want to basically be with. Because if you're able to have that kind of humor or basically be able to relate to somebody on a personal level or feeling level or hell, even emotional level where basically you guys understand each other, that's a good group of friends you want to have. More than anything else. I'd rather have a group of friends that basically, even if they don't want to be streamers, even if they don't want to be content creators, even if they don't want to basically be, just want to like live normal lives or anything, I'd rather have those group of friends that basically be in a group of friends that are just like streamers, high tier stuff and everything else. Because to me, I can't relate to that. I'd rather just basically make stuff, but I want to make stuff with those I want with me. Like, put it this way. Why is it that, put it this way, when I make content or so, I would rather have those people with me, no matter what, because those are the people I relate to, and that's the chemistry I have with those group of people. Like, video-wise or so, I'd rather have those people with me more than, like, any streamer in the world. Because I relate to them.
I gotcha. Alright. Let's see.
Nocti, the highest compliment I can.
I see you, Nocti.
The highest compliment I can give, Heavy. You're not a piece of shit. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Appreciate that more than anything else.
All right, Heavy. Next question for you: if you weren't doing live streams, is there anything else similar that you would like to do? If it wasn't live streams, is there something similar you might want to, go forward with?
Well, I still want to basically build a good community. I still want to...
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I still want to build a good community on hand. If I'm not doing live streams, I can always just do, like, edit videos or so. The thing is, it's one of those things where it's just, like, you gotta basically put a lot of time and effort in for it, but sometimes it kind of depends on when you come home tired or basically when you come home energized or so. Because, it's just a matter of, like, putting time and effort in. And sometimes, you'll have the motivation, sometimes you won't have the motivation to do it. And that can depend. But past that or so, I could have probably took up the hobby of just like making models or anything. But it all depends on motivation too for it, just because I have to basically be passionate for it just to be able to see it. So I could have done that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that leads perfectly into the next question: is what is the motivation that keeps you going? What is the best thing that motivates you to keep you going? Not future goals wise, but what's the motivation?
There's going to be a personal story to this, but I'll share it. So I mentioned about like how I got started like streaming wise or so, and basically what motivated me on hand, but that's 50% of what motivated me. The other 50% comes from a personal thing that happened on my side. And it's mostly because originally I grew up in southeast Missouri, where basically it was small town, but everybody knew everybody. And it was one of those things where basically I was just living my life normally as it is or so. Didn't really have a dream or anything on hand, but once I got out of high school and everything, my parents kind of knew that I was like, you seem to be good at computers, even though I've never built a computer my entire life. So clearly, you must be a computer repairsman. So they put me in college to do like a computer software and basically go into computer hardware, just kind of like repair stuff and everything. I knew how to do software and everything on hand a little bit. It's still back in my head, but sometimes it's never accessed. And I was originally going to get my associate's degree, but then my parents had a falling out on hand where it kind of cut into my last semester for me to get my associate's degree. And at that time or so, it was one of those things where I never had a good standing with my own father. I never did. It's mostly because, I can only speculate, it was mostly because I wasn't normal for the most part. Like, to put it this way, I'm autistic.
None of us are normal.
Well, to put it this way, I'm autistic. I have It's I call it Asperger's syndrome, but nowadays it's called Asperger's disorder. But I had Asperger syndrome, and basically I thought differently based on what motivates me. Like, so, and my father, really, me and him never saw eye to eye to one another, just because whatever he tried to show me, I wasn't interested in. So basically, because I had a fallout on hand, and basically, to this day, and I still have it in the back of my head, is the fact that the last thing my father ever told me, and keep in mind, that was the last thing he ever told me, and I never saw him ever again, was basically when they were getting divorced and everything, the last thing my father ever told me was that I was worthless and I wouldn't amount to anything. It's in the back of my head.
We all know, all of us here, we all know that that's the biggest lie, because we all know you're worth something.
Well, it's always, even if it's a lie and everything, it's still one of those things where the moment you're told that, it's still in the back of your head. Like, it's still in the back of your head. It still creeps every so often, here and there, especially in your down moments on hand. And when that happened, it was one of those things where, as soon as I got motivated with streaming, it was like one of those things, like, it's been my determining factor on hand, like, as my motivation to prove that I'm not worthless and I could just do this. If I could see this through to the end, that it's one of those things where basically, as soon as I stay on, you know, as soon as I get like on the top of that mountain of whatever I want to be in life, that basically I can shout to the world that, you know, I'm worthy. You know, I'm not worthless, I'm worthy. But it's always been that motivation on hand to do it. It has been, you know. And even if I don't share that to the world, or even if the world doesn't understand that kind of mindset, it's one of those things where, you know, it's one of those things where, people can appreciate the fact that, you know, you're going out of your way just to stick for this no matter what, even if, you know, they've got people to back you up on hand, or, you know, they've got parental support to back them up on hand for that. I mean, put it this way, I mean, be appreciate, you know, with the fact that basically you've got a father that cares about you for the most part, you know, for that, because at least they see you through to the end or so, no matter what or so. Just be appreciated if they do care about you and they support your dreams. That's a good dad to have. Just saying.
Yeah.
So
you've got your whole family. You know, you got the whole family stream and Discord and everything that support you and everything.
Yeah, I'm aware.
All right. Change it up a little bit. What in the past has been some of your favorite games / things to do for live streams?
Okay, to kind of run down the list on hand, I did, to put this on hand for the most part, for live streams and games on hand, originally I started out with Rogue Galaxy. I started out with Rogue Galaxy because it was JRPG, but I enjoy playing that aspect of basically just, that it's kind of like where level grinding came in, but basically it was one of those things where I played that on hand just because I enjoyed the story of it and just be able to explore around, take everything in for the most part. Next to that, I played JoJo Bizarre Adventure Eyes of Heaven on PS4, and then I realized on hand that they have a blocking PS4. If you don't have a capture card or thing, PS4 will try to block certain scenes on hand or so. It blocked a certain thing on hand where I couldn't be able to play it until a person by the name of Digital Eris had a capture card, and he was willing to basically give it to me if I paid the fee of $10 for it shipping wise or so, and I had no problem doing that. And I got an Elgato capture card from him, like P60 or so capture card, and basically I started streaming PS through that on hand. And then after that I got into like the Yakuza series or so, where I started out with Kiwami and actually streamed it for charity. When the first Towards Shots charity came around from Mystic Cyan, I did a 24-hour stream doing Yakuza Kiwami, so through my PS4 and everything. And past that or so, I've been doing like a little bit of stuff here and there, and then I transitioned over to PC gaming or so, where basically I've been doing most of my stuff there, here and there. Even though, sadly, depending on what game it is, I can only use a keyboard for certain games, and most of the other times I have to use a controller. Because I grew up on a controller.
That's it.
I grew up.
It's always the 50-50 between people. And some are keyboards, some are controller.
Yeah, like originally, like I grew up on the original Nintendo system playing like Super Mario Duck Hunt and track and field, even though the track mat didn't work like a piece of crap. It was a piece of crap because it never worked.
Like, it was a piece of crap. The thing never did work.
Yeah, no, it didn't work because this is like, I just remember one night I would be just like stomping on the ground trying to make sure and anything, and my parents can hear it going like, what the hell are you doing? I'm trying to get it to work. So.
This thing won't work. Man. Okay. Alright, next question for you then. What game was basically your intro to gaming?
Intro to gaming.
What was the first game that really got you wanting to play games?
Pokemon Blue on the Game Boy Black and White. Like, funny enough,
that's a good one.
Let me put it this way. Funny enough, when I was growing up and everything, my mom actually had a Game Boy Black and White. Like, they originally she got this because she wanted to give my grandma something to do here and there. So, because my grandma, just like my grandma was a workaholic, and basically when she retired and everything, she needed something to do on hand. So my mom offered them a game system to be able to play with, or so something to basically occupy time. And I remember basically when my mom was at work and everything, she would basically drop me off to my grandma's, and I would spend time with my grandma and everything. And she introduced me to Game Boy Black and White. And it had like Pokemon Blue to it. She didn't know what Pokemon was, so I didn't know what it was either. But I started playing it, and it was one of the funnest times on hand, just because it was like trying to understand what this is, but be able to play it is like, you know, funnest time for the most part. Like it was the small moments on hand, but it introduced me to Pokemon, and I actually got it. Funny enough, I actually became a Pokemon fan at that time because I had blue, red, yellow. And then it was gold, silver, crystal. I actually bought, even if I was gonna play them, I still bought the game cartridges of different kinds because I didn't figure out that basically they were two exact same game, but two different, you know, Pokemon or whatever kind of like they had into it. Then it was like Ruby. I think Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, and then originally I had, and then it kind of like went further. Then I stopped at like Ultra. I think I stopped at like Ultra Moon. It was like Pokemon Moon, no, not Pokemon Moon, Pokemon Sun, and then Pokemon Ultra Moon. I stopped at that because I stopped collecting them.
And then you picked up.
And then I picked up
Sword now.
I mean, since we got Switches,
we don't talk about Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu. We don't talk about that one.
I mean, they're kind of like reskins of just the original stuff, except just added like they're Pokemon Yellow combined together with it. So
basically.
So yeah.
All right then. Next question for you then. What's the best memory you have of streaming over all of these years of streaming? What's the best memory you've got from streams?
Best streaming I've ever got. The best memory, actually, funny enough, is the fact that, the best memory I ever had on hand was just to be able to, like, it's kind of variety of it, but just to be able to come this far and be able to meet some good people along the way and just be able to, you know, continue to meet some people here and there, because it's one of those things where when you start streaming everything, you know, it's one of those things where you became friends with people on hand and you're still friends with them, but certain times you get a chance to watch them grow and basically, you know, just take off like a rocket and go places on hand. Like to put it this way, on hand, like when in 7 Deadly Sins or so, there were people on hand that I got a chance to know before they became streamers and everything. I got a chance to know Bim before while they were part of Team 5 and everything. Got a chance to know them. I had the nice honor and just be able to get a chance to know CC before he became a streamer. Like I remember my first interaction with him. Like I share the story a little bit on him, but my first interaction with him was helping him out with his college work. Like, just to be able to help him out with college work and just be able to, you know, interact with him on hand. Even though at that time he was walking around as a Hoppu World of Warcraft and everything, because he was originally a model maker. He originally made World of Warcraft Hoppus as a model maker and everything. Mm-hmm. And then he took into streaming and everything, and then, you know, fast forward, here's where he is now. I got a chance to know... Yeah. I just got a chance to know people on hand and then be able to see them take off in their own different ways here and there. Even if I don't interact with them a lot on hand or so, I'm happy to be able to see them just like go in the directions they want to go and just be able to, you know, climb that mountain in their own ways. So it was one of those things too. As for, I guess for me personally, memory-wise or so, all I can say is I'm just happy to be able to make it this far and just be able to hope for the best and see if this can be seen to the end, you know?
Oh yeah.
See to the end.
And it will be seen to the end. Always will be. Alright. Next question I've got on hand. If you could give, say, someone wanted to aspire to be a streamer or something of that regard, what's the best motivational thing you could say to them to begin? What's the best thing that you could kind of to get them up in the spirits to do so?
To tell you on hand, if you're aspiring to be a streamer on hand for what you want to do, my first advice, I guess, I have 3 parts to this, but basically, first advice I could tell you is be yourself. And it sounds kind of vague, but let me put it this way. If you be yourself, and basically by being yourself, you get a chance to interact with people, and they get a chance to know you as you, more than anything else, that is a friend for life. Because they will stick with you, and they want to see you go wherever you go. In addition to that or so, by being yourself or so, you can tell yourself that what you've done, you've accomplished by being you. Because I have a strong dislike for fake personalities when it comes to streaming, and the reason being is because I know the grim reality of it, that being that even if you start with a fake personality and basically get everything you want out of streaming, you know, partnership, basically partnership, just great community and everything, the problem is you're gonna have to come to that grim fact on hand of, are the people there for me, the individual, or are they there for you, the personality? And it's gonna be one of those things where it's gonna eat you away to the point where you're gonna start distrusting people around you, including those who stuck with you from day one. And it's one of those things where I hate that for the fact because I can look at certain big streamers right now, certain VRC streamers, and I could just easily tell that sooner or later that's gonna hit them like a brick wall. That's gonna hit them hard, because I can easily tell who's genuine compared to who's fake, more than anything else. Exactly. I could just tell.
Exactly.
I could just tell by it. So, the second part question I will tell you on hand too. Second part to that advice on hand is play what you enjoy more than anything else. Play what you enjoy. Now, I don't play Apex. I'm just gonna, for example, I don't play Apex because it's not my thing. I'm not a shooter. I'm not a shooter on hand, but I would give it a try. I would give it a try for the fun part, but when it comes to, like, you know, what I stream or so, I just stream things that I enjoy simply on hand for the most part, and it's one of those things where I have a fun time doing, even if it seems like it's not in my voice or anything, because I'm like, because, you know, when you're a gamer, so you're focused on, like, you know, trying to see it through here and there. It's one of those things where I enjoy playing the things I do, and I do it because I love them more than anything else. And plus, it's games I never got a chance to play, like Smash Brothers. I never got a chance to play Smash Brothers Ultimate, and I'm eager to basically play more of it because I want to be able to get good at what I'm doing, as well as just basically unlock what I gotta do on hand. Now, the third thing I gotta say to this is this, and I'm just saying this just because it's a precaution on hand. Please avoid trends. Please avoid trends no matter what, because here's the thing. Yes, it will give you what you need on hand. Sure, yeah, popularity, whatever it is that you're looking for goal-wise or so, but here's the problem. When a trend dies, what else dies? The career you base that on trend-wise. And I say this on hand because, like, I get the idea of, like, you know, if there's like a brand new game coming out, or basically there's like a lot of things on hand for the most part or so, sure, that's fine. Like, if you enjoy playing the game, that's great. But when I mean trends, I mean like certain things that people do just to basically hook an audience in, even if that audience is there.
Streams.
There's a little bit more to it than that too. Or basically hook in an audience, like a group of audience that's there for a specific thing, but not for the person. Because it's one of those things where you're gonna put yourself into a corner where basically the moment you have an off day or a day where basically you just want to be yourself, all that audience members is gonna see right through that and realize this person was faking it the entire time or so, or basically this person was basically being something they're not, and then they're just gonna go. There's an example for this on hand too, because this has happened in VRC more than anything else. And I brought this person up's name one time on hand. This was in Drewski's interview. Forcible.
Yeah.
The curious case of Forcible, where basically it's the exact same way. Basically, if you fake a certain way, or basically trend-wise, there are trends on VRC. I don't need to name them if you already know them. That basically, if you act a certain way or so, and you get an audience hooked in for the most part, they're there for that hook. But the moment you let go of that hook to move on or so, that audience that you try to bring in for it, it's just going to go away. That's why I recommend be yourself more than anything else, because that's when you have a genuine audience. Because if you have a genuine audience, they will stick with you for life. Compared to an audience that's there for trends or certain hooks on it because apparently they can't go to other website to get their rocks off. Just saying. I'm just saying for the most part.
It's true. It's true.
So, that's my 3 advices on hand I can give you guys, more than anything else.
Alright, and as the final question for me, and you probably know where this is going, you get center stage here. What are your goals, and what are your dreams?
Goals and dreams? Let me see here. Sure. Trying to make sure I got myself a line here. Yeah, that works. Goals and dreams. Now, it's no secret. It's literally no secret on hand, especially in my community or anywhere else, that basically, for a goal-wise or so, it's one of the few goals on hand that I would want to basically go for Twitch partnership. But the thing is, I'd rather do it the hard way than do it the easy way. Because in my mind, when you do things the hard way, you do it because you know that when you get it, you'll earn it. You feel like you earn it more than anything else. And when I mean hard way, I mean I avoid trends more than anything else on hand. I do. I avoid trends on hand, and I want to basically work for it in my own way more than anything else. In addition to that, for goal-wise or so, for goal-wise, I want to say I just want to continue to build a good community of people that I get a chance to know as individuals more than anything else. Like, because you'll know on hand, like, I'd rather get a chance to know people individually, one by one, and basically have a good community on hand of people that I can just hang out with anytime on hand, no matter what. More than anything else. More than anything else on hand. And I guess if I can get a chance on hand, I just want to basically continue doing YouTube. Well, we'll continue doing YouTube as a content creator, just like making like different videos on hand. I just need to get motivation to do it, because I'll be honest, I'm kind of a little bit burned out just because I haven't found time to be able to do it. At the same time, it's one of those things where got to work for it. And for my dreams, I just want to, I guess for a dreams on hand for the most part, I just want to prove that no matter what situation you're in, no matter what, what living space, no matter where you are, no matter, what disability you have, no matter who's there for you and who's not, or so, if you continue to believe in yourself, believe in the people who you consider friends and family and those who are there for you, if you continue to basically work yourself, no matter how hard you work, continue to basically keep working towards that dream, keep climbing that mountain you want to reach to the top of, keep basically, even no matter what, days, months, years, if you continue to basically continue to climb and continue to try to work towards that goal on hand, I want to prove that basically if you continue to do this on hand, once you reach that mountain and once you be able to plant that flag down, you're able to plant that flag down knowing the fact that the people you have with you are there with you. Because I'm saying this, it's best to take it's best to take the hard way and go up a mountain slowly, but have everybody with you, rather than basically go up the mountain easy and have no one with you. I'd rather have genuine people than just like people who are just there for trends and everything else. And I want to prove that, no matter how long it takes, because I'm stubborn and I'm very determined. And it goes with that advice on hand of be determined, be persistent, be patient. And I see it through to the end. So, and that's my goals and dreams.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess the final bit will be questions from the chat.
Yep.
And I got the chat pulled up. So, any questions that you guys have for Heavy?
Well, we can go back to Nocti's questions on hand, because I remember his questions on hand when he came in here.
Yeah, let's see what some of the first ones.
Yeah, I'll answer them. I'll answer them honestly on him, because that's who I am. It's all good, Agent. Because it's Pride Month.
Why are you gay? Okay.
For the record, it just establishes on hand. Because nobody knows this, but at the same time, it's because I keep it low key, because you wouldn't know it in my walk or how I talk. For the record, I'm pansexual. Just to let you know. And the reason I keep it low key is because it's not part of my personality. I see it as a preference. Like literally, as I talk or anything, I basically am who I am, and I just keep it as a preference more than anything else. So yeah, just want to point that out.
Yeah, ladies.
No, Nocti, shit, I gotta hide my pants. Well, Nocti, you better hide those pots, because you don't know what I'm gonna do to those pots. Damn. But
oh Jesus.
But yeah, it's all good.
Second question from Nocti. Why are you running?
Why am I running? Because I left my phone at home.
Okay, Nocti, there's your second question. Third question from Nocti. Do you know the way?
The way? Yes, I do. It's up there. And I'm working my ass towards it.
Damn right.
Rushes to the kitchen. Oh, fucking yeah, rushes. It's all good, Agent. Don't worry. No, you didn't miss the ending on hand. We're getting to the questions part on hand. You didn't miss it. It's basically, we're just celebrating 50th episode. Shoot the breeze. It's all good. I also hope you're doing too well, Water to Cloud. Also, thank you so much for the host. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, anybody?
Yeah, anybody else got any questions?
Nocti says, what are your thoughts on us blowing up the moon as well?
Wouldn't that just cause high tides, just saying?
That thing back here.
And plus,
I don't know if it's
tide or wouldn't I just anger Earth if I do that?
Probably.
I'm just saying, I don't think this would work on hand. If I just blow up the moon, I don't think that's going to work for the most part on hand. Yeah, I know, Earth. The moon says yeah, I heard it. I can hear it spiritually. So.
Oh, yeah. Jesus. Any other questions that you guys have, or?
Yeah, anybody got any other questions on hand? If you guys want to ask, like, no matter what it is, you get a chance to basically ask me. So, might as well do what you can.
This is your opportunity to ask heavy questions.
Oh, Nocti.
Okay, what about starting global thermonuclear war?
Is this? I was gonna say, is this Command and Conquer or so? Or are we gonna go full Gandhi here? Like, really?
Oh God.
Let's not go full Gandhi here. I'm just saying, let's not do this, Nocti. Let's don't.
Okay, one from Omega. How did you get into games like Grim Dawn and Titan's Quest?
Oh, I can tell you how. It's because, originally I was playing the first kind of ARPG games I've ever played for the most part on hand. I played Diablo 3, actually. I played a game of I played Diablo 3, and it was kind of like my introduction to it, and I enjoyed it for the most part. And then when I heard about Grim Dawn on hand, I was like, you know, I might as well look into it. And it's weird to say this because it's coming from Omega, but it's weird to say this, but I had played that game for 2 years for the most part, and Omega's got more hours in it than me in less than 2 years.
True.
And I find that kind of funny more than anything else.
Yeah. All right, one from Agent G. What is your favorite genre of game to play?
Genre games? I enjoy action adventure at certain points on hand, but I also I'm gonna roll it down to maybe, because it's gonna be kind of like vague if I say it, but I'm gonna stick with maybe ARPGs for the most part, like playing it on hand. But it's weird because there's certain games that kind of evolve around that area, even if they're not ARPGs, like Vermintide 2. Like, I enjoy playing Vermintide 2, but it's not an ARPG, but it's kind of like, you know, action adventure or so. It kind of falls into that weird category, even if it's not there. Metroidvanias. Okay, that's what you mean.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Metroidvanias.
So, good lord.
Alright. Okay, from Rosie. So who, all of us in our family, inspires you? Meaning all of us, each of us, what inspires you out of us? Is what I guess that's the question that Rosie's asking. On
here's what inspires me from all you guys is that you guys, even if you didn't dream of what you want to do, like even if you just want to live ordinary lives or so, the thing that makes it great is the fact that here's what makes it. You guys are ordinary, and you're able to do great things on hand that I can't do at certain points because you're able to speak your minds for it. And what inspires that from that is the fact that you guys, no matter what or so, are always brutally honest about it. Like, put it this way, I'd rather have somebody who could just tell me I'm messing up compared to somebody who's saying, oh, you're doing great, you know, on something, no matter what it is. Like, if I go in the wrong direction, I expect basically you guys to basically pull me aside and say, hey, where you going? You not see what, because you guys can see things that I can't see. Because usually when you're, like, lost in your determination just to see things through on hand or basically want to work towards it or so, sometimes there are certain things you can't see that certain people can't see because they don't have that kind of focus on hand that you drive for. So, when it comes to it on hand, I'd rather have you guys basically be brutally honest. Like, honest friends is better than, you know, anything else, you know? It keeps you in line for what you gotta do. So.
Gotcha. Alright. From Cool One Nate, is there any game out there you'd give the title of best game in the world to, and why?
Best game in the world to. That's gonna be hard to answer because I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Because I grew up off the Game Boy Color, but it kind of like evolved over time with like different things. Like it evolved over time because
you play Pokemon.
Well, yeah, play Pokemon on here, but it also basically led me to like a PlayStation 2, 3, and it's just like, it's kind of hard to say because there's like a lot of games out there that I could think of off the top of my head. Because I grew up on because after Pokemon or so, I grew up on like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, and then in my teens, I grew up on Ratchet and Clank and Jak and Daxter. So it's just kind of like, you know, it evolves over time, so it's kind of hard to say because there's so many ones that had different things on hand. I'm trying to think, what would be the greatest... I could tell you where I take some of my inspiration from, more than anything else, on the whole mountain thing. When I mentioned about the whole mountain metaphor and everything, I take all that inspiration from a game called Journey. And it's mostly because everybody wants to accomplish something and basically be the top of their own mountain. Everybody's got a different mountain, no matter what. But but in my mind, especially playing Journey or so, it's the adventure of getting to it, but at the same time, you know it's going to be harsh for the most part on hand, but you want to be able to see it through for the longest time because you just want to leave your mark, you know? Leave your mark that basically, including for yourself, that you can do it. Because if you believe you can do it, you can do anything. So yeah.
There you go, yeah. Nate. Here, I'll give you a personal question for me on this one. This one's a specific game reference-wise. Best Pokemon, in your opinion. Worst Pokemon, in your opinion.
Best Pokemon. Oh, that's a good one. Best Pokemon.
Just 'cause we've been
we've been playing it for the most part. Best Pokemon. That's a good one because. Oh, I'm trying to think.
No, okay, non-legendary.
Yeah, okay, that makes it. Because I wasn't gonna add legendaries in this. Best Pokemon on hand for the most part. Funny enough, it's weird because it's like so many on hand, but it's like the best Pokemon I could say on hand, off the top of my head, first thing that pops in my mind is Blaziken.
Yeah,
Blaziken, I think something about Blaziken just kind of like, I think it's just because it was like, actually, it was a funny introduction to where basically it was the whole trend of like firefighting types for starters. It was the whole trend that somehow still sticks.
Yeah.
It was like, why?
Charizard didn't have firefighting, and Typhlosion didn't have firefighting. Blaziken's the one that started that.
Okay, as for worst Pokemon, I'm sorry if you guys have if you guys have a soft spot for it, that's fine. But I'm just saying, based on how it is or so, Shuckle. Shuckle.
I'm waiting to hear the words of war in chat right now.
I'm waiting. This is how I start the Shuckle War, where basically they all slowly but surely come over here just
to get the 5-knuckle Shuckle done to you if you don't be careful.
I guess I'm getting ready to get bugged and rocked at this point, for what it is.
Oh
God. But yeah.
All right, and the final question from me then.
Okay.
Last one, and Nate, I'm sure you could probably relate to this question. Out of everything that you've played in Super Smash Bros. So far, your best character and favorite character?
Favorite character. Best character on it. Well, best character on hand I play for the most part, just because it's so cheap to do, is Bowser. And favorite character because, okay, my favorite character out of Smash is thanks to basically, if anybody knows who Lythero is, basically I watched a bunch of Smash Brothers Ultimate from Lythero, and my favorite character, I want to try to experiment play, is Ganondorf, just because the key phrase Ganon side comes from it, where basically, to explain it, is if you have somebody near the ledge or so, Ganondorf has a grab that basically he will grab you and basically bring you back down to the ground. In the case of the word Ganon side, basically, if someone's next to the ledge, you can actually use that up move, grab them, and bring them down to the stage, literally taking you with them. And funny enough, it will cause them a negative point while giving you a plus point, and it cancels it out for you, but they still take the negative point. So literally, you could cheap it out of that. That's the thing. So yeah. I just remember that. It was like that's kind of fun to do, just because you can actually just almost troll people to do it. If I can unlock Ganondorf, I can probably show it off, which I might be able to for that Friday midnight, if I can. All depends once we get there. So yeah.
I gotcha. Right, any more questions from chat?
Any more questions from you guys?
Else?
Yep. If you guys got any more questions, feel free to ask on hand. And like I said, I can answer them no matter what, depending on what it is. So yeah.
Let's see if we get any more.
Yeah. But I will say on hand, I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen once we reach 100.
Oh yeah.
Because I've already got my plan of what I want to do here to reach 100, and plus I'm kind of curious what's going to happen once we reach 100.
Once you reach 100.
Yeah. What am I going to do to reach 100? That's the key thing.
I think that's all the questions that we're probably
going to get. I guess that's all the questions on hand for the most part from you guys. But I will say, that's going to be episode 50 of Shoot the Breeze, a special episode on hand, and basically happy to celebrate reaching the 50th episode for a milestone.